All right, moving on. Our first speaker, Akin Oni, our Sergeant at Arms. Screen. All right. Akin has been with Toastmasters since 2016. He is currently working on levels 3 and 5 of his presentation mastery track in the Toastmaster Pathway program. Today, he will be presenting on a level 5 elective lesson learned in his speech entitled The VVTM Expo Project Planning, Execution, and Key Learnings. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome our Sergeant at Arms, Akin Oni, as he delivers his speech. Akin, this is your floor. Please go ahead.
Okay, just before I start, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Who is the timer? I want to make sure I can see the timer. Okay, Jessica is the timer. Okay, thank you very much. So my speech is gonna start now. This is about Veterans Voice Toastmasters Expo that was organized on the 29th of May, 2021. This will be about the purpose, the work plan, which I'm not gonna dwell on, but just talk about the lessons learned. The event and project purpose. We wanted to appreciate veterans and patriots in our lives amidst on Memorial Day. We also wanted to inspire a rebuild of the VVTM Club, that's the Veterans Voice Toastmasters Club. And finally, we wanted to create awareness within District 56 of the existence of the club. I put together this work plan. I was actually invited to this meeting just like Harvey was. With that, I did not know what I was going in for, but it was an invitation from Camille. So I just thought it was from Camille, so it must be something good. Anyway, we had our first meeting on the 19th of May. And in the course of that meeting, we came up with the purpose, what's gonna happen, and the day we're gonna need to deliver this project. I just took it from there. We had our first meeting, as I said, on the 19th. I promised them that I would develop the agenda the following day, which I did. I identified speakers, the table topics master and functionaries through the help of everyone who participated at that first meeting, established flyer and background slide, got speakers and functionaries buying, and so on and so forth. And the project was delivered on schedule on the 29th of May. I just jumped through that because that is really not the purpose of my speech tonight. Here is the reason I'm talking to you tonight, the learnings. In the course of organizing that event, I learned a lot, and I organized a lessons learned session at the back end of the event with all the key functionaries. The first learning for me was support others. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the people that you support today will be handy for you tomorrow. That is very important. Camille called on a number of us without even telling us the purpose of the meeting. We showed up and he dropped this project on our laps. Because she had supported each and every one of us at that meeting before then, we were ready to support her. Number two, be a trusted club member. As we have the outgoing officers and we have the incoming officers, be that Toastmaster that can be trusted. We were trusted with the responsibilities. I wasn't the only one giving the assignments. Other people were given the responsibilities, but we were trusted. And that was why they gave it to us. Don't mind to take risks. They may give you things that you don't really know. There's nothing that cannot be learned. And be open as the leader of the group to eat last. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on that, but all I'm going to just say is that when you are the leader of a short project like this, or any project at all, don't get into the meeting and be telling people, okay, regarding this initiative, here is my view. Do you have any thoughts? No, keep quiet and let everyone come up with their ideas, and then you can speak last. Number 3, be generous with your time. Very importantly, delegate, access expertise realistically, people who you believe can do what you're asking them to do. And if they can't, be available to support them. Then build bus stops, inspire them. Don't motivate. I do not motivate people. I inspire people through assignments. I like to leave them self-motivated. It's very important. Overemphasize the need to follow agenda. I realized that in the course of the day, even though the agenda was available over a week before the day, we started the meeting without people actually following the agenda. I had to course correct and bring people back on track. It's very important as the leader. Understand the agenda and do the best that you can to follow it. Have a script, no matter how broadly framed. This event actually did not have a script, but I've used to district contests where you have a script. But because we didn't have a script, that kind of allowed a few functionaries to go on their own. That took a little longer than they could have taken at different times in the course of the day. Communicate, explain the meeting's purpose, what it means to be an expo, and clarify expectations is very important. Make snappy but informed decisions based on experience. This was a 10-day project that I had to plan, get people, and then execute and deliver successfully. I had to make decisions on the fly. But I based it on the information available to me, and I incorporate my experience into it as well. Let's make sure that we ensure zero process loss. As I told you earlier, we started that event that day with people not following the agenda. It was my responsibility at that point to ask myself, what was the process as defined in the agenda? I had to make sure that there was no loss. And I brought people back on track. Lead by example. For example, I learned 2 lessons that day. The District 56 director actually joined from a remote location. If it was you or myself, we probably would have given the excuses that, no, I wasn't available because I'll be out of town in a difficult location. Also, the immediate past district director also offered to join the club that day. I promised them, which is the next lesson. I promised to start at 10 o'clock, and I promised them that I will finish at 11:59 a.m. And that was exactly what happened. It's vitally important. By doing that over and over again, you will garner people's trust. They will believe you. They will know that you are going to do what you say you are going to do. Very importantly, be positive on purpose and genuinely too. Don't just appreciate people who are not performing, but encourage them to come up higher. And finally, you cannot appreciate the effort of people well enough. Appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. Those were my learnings. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Akin. That was an amazing speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please take 1 minute to provide your feedback to Akin on things that he did good, things that he can improve. Madam Timer, can we please have 45 seconds on the clock, please? A few things about milestone. Well, when you are planning your next milestone, may it be a professional, personal, whatever it is, it's less of a date, more of a definition. So try to build your milestone around things that matter and not just certain date. It will help a lot.
"45 minutes up."
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, our next speaker is Courtney Hatton. Courtney is completing her leadership development pathway today. She will share her journey to level 5 more information on why pathways is a critical component to career success and how to make the most of your path. Please help me welcome Courtney. Her speech title is The 3 P's to Purpose, Pathway, Passion, and Persistence. Courtney, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and honored guests. Today, as President Avi mentioned, I will be discussing the 3 P's to purpose, pathways, persistence, and passion. Let's get started. So the first step to achieving your purpose is finding a pathway. And this is interesting. You see Ola on the call. He is our Vice President of Education as of now. So if you have any questions until June 30th, you can reach out to Ola and he will help you. But there are 11 different pathways that you can choose from. And I encourage you all to play this game with me and drop down how many pathways you know or can say off of your head in the chat. So I want to see how much you all know. Just test your knowledge. When you first start pathways, you can go to toastmasters.org/pathways overview. And when you go to this website, you can learn more about each path. And in each path, there are different core competencies that can help you. And you can also look through an FAQ document that just tells you more about why pathways is important and how you can use this tool. The path that I am currently completing is the leadership development path. Now, this path focuses on how to manage time as well as how to develop and implement a plan. So most of you all on the call are project managers, and you know how important it is to be able to speak and say what you need to within a timely manner and execute a project within the deadlines that your client has given you. I, at my job, work in the acquisition and retention department, and my main role, I'm responsible for recruiting, retaining, and onboarding a profile of about $300,000. And my members, I have to have meetings with them and conversations with them on a daily basis, camera on. You're probably thinking, if you're anything like me pre-COVID, oh gosh, this is scary to have a conversation on Zoom and be one-on-one with a client. So I knew that leadership development was what I needed to focus on. I wanted to make sure that I could effectively communicate my point in a succinct way that made sense. And I also wanted to make sure that I could communicate with senior leadership if I had a proposal about how to recruit more qualified leads to Houston or an attrition discussion with senior leadership. So that's why I chose leadership development. I encourage you to think about why you chose your path and also go ahead and post that in the chat. Now, there are different levels and pathways, and if you are unfamiliar with the pathway structure, it starts with pathways. So there are different paths that you can select from the pathway program. And then in those paths, there are levels. And in each path, there are 5 different levels that you can complete. Now, each level focuses on something a little bit different. Level 1 is typically the same in each pathway. That's just getting you comfortable with public speaking. But moving on to level 2, 3, 4, and 5, that's when the growth and the learning happens. And each speech should represent something that you stand for. And it should help you hone your skills in one way or another. I like to tell people that pathways is really an evolution of you. You start at the beginner level and you should finish with a sense of competency and a sense of accomplishment. So just talk to Ola about that if you have any questions. A few different takeaways from my path. And level 2, connect with your audience in leadership development. I presented an I am speech and I talked about my experience and my journey through my own eyes. And I relayed that to the Southwest Project Management team and it was well received, so thank you. Also, I was able to attend a fun virtual Toastmasters dance party and speak about it. And my effective visual aids were in my body, was just dancing. So that was another great part in Toastmasters. And level 4, of Toastmasters, I gave a speech about leading your team. And that was a speech about leading, it was actually Avi and my brother, and helping a community shelter organization, a women's shelter, give them books. That was another great experience. And managing online meetings. As you know, in level 5, we had to move to, or excuse me, level 4, we had to move to Zoom during the pandemic. And managing online meetings was a really great way for me to get acclimated to speaking to clients virtually. In level 5, I just spoke about the lessons I learned as a club president. And with this speech today, ending my evolution in leadership development. However, Pathways is very interesting. Some people have been in Toastmasters for 20 plus years. And even though the pathways are recycled, you get something different each time you speak. So I encourage you, don't give up. All right, moving on to the next slide. The next step to achieving your purpose is to be consistent. So this is where the persistent comes in. Sometimes it can be very easy to give up, to not prepare a speech. In fact, a little secret, today I had to prepare this speech because I just received a promotion at work. I've been bogged down with work and resources. I could have called Ola and said, hey, Ola, so sorry, can't make it. I have too much on my plate, that's it. But guess what? I didn't, I showed up. Half of the battle is just showing up. If you need help with writing your speeches, you have a plethora of resources. Not only do you have Toastmasters.org, you also have your Vice President of Education and your different Toastmaster executive officers who can help you write a speech if you need help. So don't give up, slow down, but never stop. So consistency, as you see on the screen, is more important than perfection. It's just showing up. Those small, seemingly insignificant actions, just doing those on a daily basis. The next step to achieving your purpose is finding your passion. And this still is within the persistence, the second P of the 3 Ps. Do something that scares you. Are you afraid to speak in public? Well, guess what? You joined Toastmasters. Congratulations. Now that you've joined Toastmasters, now what? Are you still afraid? Do you still feel that little beat in your heart when you have to speak or when you have to take on a leadership role? If not, you might be complacent in your role, and that's not good. There are many ways and pathways that can help you, and not just in Pathways, but in Toastmasters that can help you achieve your mission and fulfill your why. I encourage you to use your passion to fuel your why. And let me give you a little example of why passion is so important. Studies have actually proven that passion, having passion and standing in your passion can do amazing things in your life. First of all, some of the benefits are increased self-confidence, lower stress levels, fewer regrets, and personal growth. And if that's not enough, I can also share a link after the meeting if you'd like, and you can see more benefits of why standing in your passion is important. Another reason why standing in your passion is important is because you have fewer regrets. I like to say that graveyards are one of the richest places on earth because they're full of untapped talent. The cure to cancer might be in a graveyard somewhere, but we won't know. Don't let your dreams escape you because you're scared or you just don't feel like doing it or it's never the right time. And just between you and I, it's never going to be the right time. So just do it. Just do it. Movement is key. And a few examples of how you can get engaged in Toastmasters. If you're interested in service, you can serve as a club officer. If you have great PR skills, guess what? You can be a VP PR. If you have great communication skills, you can be a VPM. If you love teaching people, guess what? You should be a VPE. There are different ways that you can engage in Toastmasters. So I encourage you, don't just stop at the club level, but keep climbing that ladder and keep going higher and higher. I joined Toastmasters in 2018. And starting off, I was a club president. I took on the vice president of public relations role, and I was in that role for 2 years. And now I just served as, or I'm finishing my term as club president, but I'm not stopping there. In fact, in 2020, I have a more expanded role with the district and helping them. I'm hungry all the time for new opportunities and new ways to learn. Don't lose your hunger. Don't lose your passion, because that is important. Moving on to the final step in our 3 Ps for purpose is finishing strong with persistence. Now, with persistence, we need to figure out our purpose and figure out our why. As you see on your screen, starting strong is good, but finishing strong is epic. The story I was telling you a little earlier about how maybe things have gotten so busy to the point where you want to just not come to meetings or not give speeches anymore and just listen in. That's not benefiting you, that's not benefiting the club, and you can do more. I know it sounds hard and harsh, but that is the reality. You have to constantly push yourself. And if you can't push yourself, have an accountability partner. Bet money, bet food. That's a motivator for me for sure. But just do something that keeps you motivated. So as a general recap to the 3 Ps for purpose, choose a pathway that is aligned with what you want to do and something that motivates you, something that drives you. Number 2, don't forget your why. Continue to be hungry. Keep that hungry spirit as you move throughout your Toastmasters journey. And number 3, don't slow down. Don't stop, just slow down, because movement is key in everything you do in life, and showing up is 95% of the battle, I assure you. I'm more than happy to share this slide deck or talk to you on a one-on-one meeting if you'd like, but this is all I have. These are my takeaways in my path leadership development. I'm moving on to presentation mastery. So if you are currently in a presentation mastery pathway, I would love to hear about your experience. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Courtney. That was an amazing speech. Madam Timer, could you please add 45 seconds on the clock, please, so that everyone, I encourage everybody, please go ahead, provide your feedback to Courtney, things that she did good, things that she can perform well in her next speech. Something about milestone again. Well, we need to make sure we are achieving constantly towards our journey. Always remember, the moon is always your first milestone towards your journey when you are moving across the stars. That's something I learned very early in my career, where I want to have everything together. No, it doesn't happen. You need to set smaller goal, smaller path, and each time you achieve something, celebrate. It's very important.
Time's up.
Thank you, Madam Timer. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to our impromptu section, and that would be led by a wonderful Jorge, and he got his calculator this time. In fact, an app this time. But before we move on to you, Jorge, this time we would like to have a special quick event. And I would pass on the ball to our VP of M membership to tell us what it is. Jessica, the floor is all yours.
Hey, thank you. Today, fellow Toastmasters, it's our beauty that we need to do this new member induction and talking about milestones. Actually, 7 years ago, I was there at Slumber J when I watched you guys as a guest, when I watched you guys to have your charter meeting. And since then, I was away for about 3 years, and then I came back. And then at that time, I was hurt because I couldn't find a professional job. And I found Anthony and all the other people still in the club and still doing the speech. And then one thing after another, Anthony helped me find my first professional job in America. And then I'm still stay with the company even through this hard time with COVID. We have so many up and downs in my company, and I'm still there. I'm so grateful with this club, with all the people around me and support me, and that's a great milestone. And I'm so happy we are here today that we can welcome the new members, new family members joining our family, our Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club. So today I have two new members with me. One is Carol Reader, and the other one is Kim Dude. Thank you be here with us. And fellow Toastmasters, it's now our duty and privilege to induct Carol Reader and Kim Dude, new members into Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club. This is an important occasion, both for these new members and also for our club. These individuals has come to Toastmaster seeking to improve their communication and their leadership skills. And now we have an opportunity to help them learn, grow, and achieve. I will now call our new members forward and ask them to join me at the lectern. Please withhold your applause until the ceremony is complete. Carol Ritter and Kim Dude, you are joining a worldwide organization that has helped more than 4 million people learn to communicate more effectively. As members of South Project Management Toastmaster Club, you will be benefit from a proven program of self-development. You will become part of an outstanding group of people who are dedicated to help one another in the spirit of sharing and enjoyment. Mr. Vice President Education, have these new members been given an opportunity to discuss their needs and goals with the club?
Yes, we've communicated with them.
Thank you. Have they been told how the Toastmaster programs works and informed of the many benefits they will receive, as well as the obligations of membership?
Yes.
Thank you. And have they been assigned mentors for these new members?
Kim has been assigned mentor. Carol is an experienced member, so she'll be a mentor of mentors.
Great. Would this Toastmaster please stand? And I will ask you these questions, and you just go follow with me. Do you, Carol Ritter, promise to be active members of this club, to attend meetings regularly, and prepare fully for your duties? Carol, you are muted.
I do. Yes, I do.
Thank you. Do you also promise to fulfill the other points in the Toastmasters promise?
Yes, I do.
Now to the whole club. Do you, the member of Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club, promise to support Carol Ritter as they work the Toastmaster program?
I do.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
I do.
it's my pleasure to declare you installed as members of Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's my honor.
Thanks. Now, to Kim, do you promise to be active members of this club, to attend meeting regularly and prepare fully for your duties?
I do.
Do you also promise to fulfill the other position in Toastmasters promise?
I do.
Thank you. And to the co-club, do you, the members of Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club, promise to support Kim Dude as they work the Toastmaster program?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we
I
do.
do.
Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to declare you installed as members of Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Jessica. Wonderfully done. I remember this is your first time doing a member installation. You have done a fantastic job. Everybody, big round of applause for new member and Jessica.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. This is the section where we're gonna be on our feet, and that would be led by our table topic master, Jorge. Jorge, please take it over from you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters, before I jump into the table topics, I wanted to do a very brief description of my role today for the new members and for the guests that we have, and how the table topics will flow. So over the next minutes, I'm going to pose a series of questions to the audience on basically following the theme of today's meeting, which is purpose and motivation. And most specifically, how you find inspiration in different aspects of your life. So those questions I'm going to select using my now famous or infamous, depending on how you look at that, random number generator, which I have 13 numbers, which is the number of people that are here, including myself. But if I get selected, I'm not going to participate, but everybody else will be selected, could be selected, I mean. And unfortunately, my random number generator is very biased toward the turn off screen. So be aware of that. If your screen is off, you may be selected several times. But anyway, you will be selected, and I will pose the questions again on the table topics of tonight, purpose and motivation. Even if you have been a speaker tonight, you may be selected. So you will get the minute mark milestone at 1 minute. You'll get the green light. At 1.5, you get the yellow, and at the red light or the red card, you get it at 2 minutes. Now, I want to give you a critical tip for tonight. I know that here we don't have any anxious speaking or a speaker or anybody afraid of speaking in public. I know that for sure, but if it happened that you are completely drawing a blank and you don't really know how to answer my question, my recommendation is that don't worry about that. Don't feel uncomfortable, and take your speech any way you want to take it. Basically, answer a different question if that's how you feel, go on a tangent, or whatever you want to talk about. Sometimes in life, we actually have to do that when we get a very uncomfortable question that we don't want to answer. So to start my table topics tonight, I'm going to start my spinning the numbers here. And we are going to get number 6. So I'm going to count. Okay, Carol. This is interesting. All right. So inspiration can come from the most mundane and unlikely places. It says that Susan Collins, the author of the Hunger Games, once inspired to write her book while she was watching television one night. And she was basically watching those channels that basically have TV shows and reality shows. That's the word I was looking for. And she kind of got bored and she switched channels and she ended up watching a documentary on the invasion of Iraq. And somehow these two topics merged in her mind. And she came with the idea of writing a book about a reality show that was more kind of like a war. And that's the way that she came in with her book on the Hunger Games. So my question for you tonight is, have you ever experienced, no matter how mundane it is, anything that inspired you to take an action that was kind of out of the blue, kind of no relationship to what you were doing or what you were going to do, but you got that inspiration?
Yes, indeed. I have just finished, as a matter of fact, a high performance leadership plan. And that was amazing to me because what my performance leadership plan was to write a paper concerning the position of the Native Americans prior to contact with Europeans and immediately thereafter, and how they managed to maintain their economies during that contact. It was fascinating to me. I have finished my project as I stated that I would. However, I have not completed this because I've been so inspired by the research that I did that I intend to continue it. There were so many stories that I could tell you about it. I'll just share one, and I hope I have time to share the whole thing. This was about the Comanches. They were masters of the horse, and they rode better than anybody else. At one point, they had a Comanche leader run a race with a horse presented by some of the soldiers that they were visiting with. The Comanche leader, he brought in this miserable looking pony, and everybody thought, oh, he's not going to do any good with it. But when he got on his horse and they prepared the start, he threw his war club away. He said, "Yeehaw!" and he shot down the road, and he turned around in his saddle about 50 yards from the end and was making funny faces and ugly gestures at the horses behind him, saying, come on, catch me if you can. So that was just one of the fascinating little stories, and there's at least 100 in there. I can mine those for Toastmaster speeches, and I certainly will. It was inspiring to me, the whole study. Thank you very much, Jorge.
Thank you, Carol. Definitely very inspiring story. Thank you very much for sharing with us. So keeping this competition and reality shows theme that provide purpose and motivation and all that, I'm not a big TV watcher type of person, but I do watch a lot of shows on the YouTube and internet and all that. And once in a while, I run into cooking shows. And sometimes, I saw these kind of very crazy ideas on this cooking show from these master chefs and all that. And they make this crazy combination that I said, that probably will taste horrible. And I have tried a few of those and actually it tastes really good. So my next question, and I'm going to select before I ask my question. Here we go with my infamous random number generator. This time is number 8, so I'm going to count. Okay, it's Yvette, our guest. So my question for you, Yvette, is, even if you don't like to cook, but you probably like to eat, I'm sure, have any time in your life you feel inspired by food or a drink that inspired you to do something? And tell us why, what it was and why.
Thank you for the question. I'm going to share with you what I shared with a club speech a couple of years back. I actually went through the process of demonstrating and talking about baking a pound cake. The original pound cake is a pound of butter, pound of sugar, flour, a pound of eggs, sugar. I found several recipes. There's a pound cake that requires 10 eggs. Still a pound of butter. Imagine butter. I love to taste my ingredients. So when you slice into that cake, you can smell the vanilla. That's the key ingredient. But to taste the butter, And I let everything come to room temperature. Room temperature eggs. My butter is room temperature. I make sure my flour is fresh. That's the key. You got to have fresh flour. I don't care how long you have it stored, fresh eggs, fresh flour. So I demonstrated. I even showed the pan. I told them about the oven. It has to be preheated. Now, there are some recipes. I have a cold pound cake recipe where the oven is cold when you mix and put everything in the pan and put it into the oven. But the pound cake that I'm talking about, 350 is the magic number. I'm thinking, getting excited. Soft, warm cake, maybe with a scoop of ice cream. They enjoyed that speech, and they also wanted me to bake them one and bring to the meeting. Back to you, Jorge.
Thank you very much, Yvette. Thank you. Now you are making me hungry. Now I want a pound cake. All right, so my third question, and I'm going to select the person before this time. Let's go with my spinning wheel here, random number generator. All right, I got number 5. And it's Ola. Oh, Ola. I'm sure this question is for you. I did it on purpose, but well, sometimes we get inspiration from somebody that really touched in our life. In my case, I got a lot of inspiration from my father. My grandfather was a country person, a farmer that didn't know how to read or write. And my father actually was the first person in his family that graduated from college. And he, on remitting, was sure that every single one of his brothers and sisters actually that graduated from college. So he put a big thing in education. Top of that, he started a consulting engineering company more than almost 70 years ago. And even though he died more than 40 years ago, that company is still going very strong. So he has been my inspiration. He has been very big shoes to fill in life for me. So every time around, I challenge myself, I push myself because I have very big steps to follow. So my question for you, Ola, is, do you have a person that has been that great inspiration in your life, whether famous or not, and how that person inspired you?
Thank you very much. You set me thinking once you started talking about who inspires me, because I have been blessed with many people that inspired me. But today I'm going to talk about my mom. My mom has been a great inspiration for me. I grew up in a household of 4 siblings, and unfortunately, I lost my dad at about 11 years old. And so my mom actually raised all of us. And I could see a dedication to make sure that all of us went to college. It means her doing 2 jobs. It means her making sure that we have the homework done. I remember there was a time in school whereby I am one of the kids that have all the textbooks. I have my own personal textbooks because my mom ensured that I have them. I don't just rely on the library. And her dedication has been inspiring to me to put in my best effort so that she will not be disappointed. And that has helped me to put in best effort, to climb ladders, to do great things. And now she's very proud of me. My wife says, according to my mom, I can never do any wrong. If you go and tell my mom, all I did is, she's going to pick the good part out of it and say, the rest is not my son. So she is my ally, my advocate, and I can go to her with any issue that I have. And she's also a Christian and a prayer warrior. So if I have any issue, my mom, she's already praying about it. So I can feel like not only do I have someone that motivates me, I have someone praying for me at the back, and that has helped me to move forward. So yes, my mom is a great inspiration for me, and that is the person I'll pick. Thank you.
Thank you, Ola. Thank you very much for sharing with us tonight. So do we have time for another final question, or we still running out of time?
2 more.
2 more. Okay, so this is kind of I'm not even going to run my random generator this time because this is a preloaded question for Kim. I'm selecting Kim on this question specifically. You will see why. So my question is, since you are a new Toastmaster member, obviously something inspired you to become a Toastmaster member. So my question is, what in the Toastmaster meetings, especially in Southwest Project Management, inspired you to take public speaking to the next level, and how are you planning to do it?
Thank you for the question, Jorge. Well, when I joined the organization, I remember feeling very anxious, especially regarding the impromptu questions. I'm a planner. I'm a person that feels comfortable with research. I'm very good at anything that allows me time to prepare. So whenever I saw people like Avi and Akin and Ola and you and Courtney just expressing themselves in such a confident manner, I was really inspired. And I was also inspired by the feedback from the group that, you know what, everybody started on level 1. And when I watch them now, I'm just always tickled and excited. And I hope that this new role will allow me to just get out of my comfort zone. And I love talking to people. I love meeting people. So being a VPM will allow me to get out there and just get the word out about our club. And hopefully in the process, just gain more confidence in speaking, especially public speaking. And I do hope that I'll be able to improve and better improve. The organization is already amazing, but better improve the organization in the new membership process and how we retain and ensure that we keep the current members engaged. So I'm really excited and thankful. Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. And once again, welcome to Toastmaster and welcome to our group. So last question, I'm going to open the floor for any volunteer that wants to speak and wants to be an impromptu question. Okay, Akin, that's good. I think this question is for you too. I didn't plan it this way, but okay. All right. So it happens that you are walking into an elevator and that person that is your inspiration in your profession and in your life, so where you want to be when you are older, runs into the elevator with you and say, hold the elevator, please. And the two of you end up being in that elevator. What will you tell that person in the next minute to 2 minutes that you are going to be on that ride about how that person inspired you?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. What you just described has actually happened before. And I will tell you this, that for that to happen, that person actually didn't jump into the elevator. I saw that person coming behind me. And as I was about entering the elevator, even though he didn't know that I saw that he was behind me, I didn't go into the elevator. I held the elevator for him. Okay. And he said, oh, I didn't know that you saw me. I said, oh, of course I did. He entered the elevator and then we started chatting. I said to him, and I just asked him one question. And I said, what is the recipe for success in the workplace? He paused for about 5 seconds. And he replied, and I'll never forget his reply. He said, what you just asked me is the quest for value. He said, Akin, if you can choose to bring value to the workplace, to everything that you do, and you do it in a manner that does not bring people down, that doesn't mean you lie to people, tell them the truth, but don't bring them down, in a manner that it helps the organization to grow. You will become so indispensable. In fact, you look at yourself and say, okay, why didn't I become this person all this long? It is the quest for value. And it kept on going on and on and on. And I will tell you all, each time I have met people that I admire, people who inspire me, once they begin speaking, I keep quiet because I wanted to hear more from them. I don't talk. I just keep quiet. You look at me, you say, is this not Akin? No, it's me. it's vitally important that when you see somebody that inspires you, keep quiet, listen to them. And that person inspired me that day with the quest for value in whatever I do. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Akim. I knew you are going to be able to throw in some good value, some good advice in your presentation. I knew that. So. Well, I guess with that, we conclude our table topics and just give the floor back to Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. Wonderful question. As usual, your famous tool of random generator happily did the job. Now it's time for the E section of our meeting, and quickly we will hand this meeting over to our general evaluator, Ola, and his team for the results. Ola, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Our meeting for new members is structured in a PIE, P-I-E, prepared speeches, impromptu, and evaluation. We have the prepared speeches, 2 great speeches. We have Ohe lead us in a very great impromptu session, and now we'll be doing the evaluation. Calling the first evaluator that we evaluate our first speaker, that is, sorry, I'm trying to check my list. Carol, over to you to evaluate Akin. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Akin, I am very impressed with the process that you generated, and particularly in such a short time frame. You did a very good job explaining what your process was, but most importantly, you did a very good job explaining how you managed the team and to keep them not necessarily organized and not necessarily on track, but keep them focused on the goal so that eventually that goal would come about. You were complimentary of them. You gave them appreciation, not excessive, but you supported them in everything that they were doing. I liked the chart that you put up there, the Gantt chart. Is that what they call those things? Yes, that's what I thought. A Gantt chart. It was very explanatory and it was very well done. Very well done, and I appreciated that. Let's see. The thing that resonated with me was you lead by experience, and you start and finish as you promise. Be positive generally. I appreciate also the fact that when you stated that you had to, sometimes you have to correct midstream. If you have an agenda and a script, all those things are good, but sometimes you do have to make a big correction in your process, and you, depending on circumstances. That was very true, and that resonated also with me quite a bit. You were unrelenting in your pursuit of, unrelenting, is that our word? Unremitting in your pursuit of our goal. You were unremitting in the pursuit of your goal. And I appreciated that because that's what you have to do, especially if you're on a short timeline. You had to make decisions on the fly with the information that was available to you. That is so critical for a manager to understand. Sometimes you want to do it one way, but you don't have all, you have to make a decision whether you've got all the information or not, and keep in the back of your mind, I can change this how can I change this if I need to when I get more information in? All of those things were wonderful. What I would have liked to have seen would be a longer speech because you had so much information and had to be delivered very rapidly, but it was really, really wonderful. And I appreciate it, Akim. Thank you very much. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Mr. General Evaluator, excuse me. Okay.
Thank you, Carol. That was very, very good. Thank you for helping Akin along to become even a better speaker.
Okay.
Our next evaluator is Kim, and Kim will be evaluating Courtney. Kim, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Courtney, I always enjoy your speeches. I'm always left in awe. I love your confidence. I love how you prepare, how you use slides. Today, I'm going to be using the sandwich style evaluation. I'm going to start with something that you did great, and then an area of improvement, and lastly, a couple of areas that I feel that you did really well. Something great about your speech. I feel like you did a great job explaining the Pathway program, especially for those new members like me, and even great reminders for those people that have been in the program for a while. It is important for us, you reminded us that it is important for us that to remember that as we go through the pathways, that we need to ensure that we're growing in the process. And thank you for reminding us all that consistency is more important than perfection. I felt that was something that's really important for everybody that's starting out or people that have been with the club for 7 years. Thank you for reminding us that standing in your passion allows us fewer regrets. I'm going to sleep on that one tonight, and that we shouldn't let our dreams escape us. We need to stay hungry. Just do it. It's never going to be the right time. So thank you for that. The one area of improvement or suggestion. I feel that you do a really great job engaging the audience. And as always, I encourage you to continue doing that great job of using eye contact. A few things that went really well. You're very interactive and engaging by asking people to type their answers regarding what they knew about the pathway in the chat. I really like that. You always provide a visual with the slides for your audience. So I like that about your presentations. And you apply storytelling, which allows us, the listener, to stay engaged. So great job on that. And finally, I always enjoy when you recap all the important points in your speech, because it just kind of allows me to remember everything, because I always want to grasp everything. So thank you for doing that at the end of your speeches. Great job, Courtney. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Kim. I bet this is maybe your first evaluation and you hit it out of the park. Great job. Great job. Thank you for stepping up. And that was a great evaluation. One thing I learned from one of the mentors in this club is Anthony Hala is evaluation is a gift. And giving evaluation is something we all have to learn, even in our professional and personal journey. So thank you for stepping up and learning that skills and getting better day by day. So next we go to our functionary reports, and our first functionary is the grammarian, and our grammarian today is Susan. Susan, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. All our speakers have done exceptionally well tonight, and there were plenty of vivid phrases to choose from. And I'm just going to choose a few of them. Ola, I really enjoyed you sharing about your mother. You said her dedication is a great inspiration for me. She is my ally and she is my advocate. I mean, I could almost feel like I starting to know your mom. So you did a great job in describing her. It's so warm. And you did the word of the day at least one time. Avi, excuse me, Avi. You said each time you achieve something, no matter how small, celebrate. I love that. I always have that in my ideal too, because if you forget to celebrate, then you always feel like I'm just working. I don't have anything to be happy about. So thank you for the great reminder. Akin, of course, Akin is a very seasoned speaker. So even if he's in a hurry or if he has some kind of emergency, he still delivers an incredible speech. I'm just awed by the ability that he has. What I love about his speech is he said, be open to eat last. Well, at first I thought he was talking about, okay, as a leader, you really let everybody eat first and you eat last. But no, he was actually talking about be quiet, let other people speak first. And you also said, be positive on purpose, appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. I love that because that is the case. You appreciate you, even if, no matter how the person is not as productive, but if you really appreciate them, they will improve. One thing's perhaps in your speech, you said we wanted to, at the beginning, you said we wanted to explain this and to talk about this. Instead of saying we wanted to, maybe it's better to say we want to, because it hasn't happened yet. Courtney, she is unremittingly in pursuit of excellence, and she is a great speaker. There are a few very vivid phrases that I caught from her, and that is, pathway is an evolution of you. That is so true, because I feel that, as you go along with the pathway, you really evaluate you really evolve from one stage to another. And a pathway is a great passage that we can take. She also said, slow down, don't stop, and never give up. It reminds me of teaching my piano students. That's what I would tell them. Don't stop, be patient, slow down, just keep going. And also use your passion to fuel your why. That is very powerful, because sometimes we don't know why we are doing what we're doing, but if you have a passion, that will be a fuel of your why. And also, start strong is good, finishing strong is epic. Thank you for that phrase, because starting strong, who cannot start strong, but to end strong is so important. Jorge, thank you for being our table topic master. One thing that I probably want to say, instead of saying most specifically, maybe just specifically, and that will do. And Carol, I love the way you said the Comanches are master of the horse, and he brought in a miserable pony. I mean, you paint a really very vivid picture. I could almost see that miserable pony, poor thing. So that was what stood out for me. And Yvette, I love your story about the cake, because I love to eat. I mean, eating is my thing. Soft, warm cake with a scoop of ice cream. Oh my goodness! You not only make me hungry, you have just given me what I wanted to eat as dessert tonight. But 10 eggs, I don't know about 10 eggs. And so Akin, and when you were doing the table topic, is that what is the recipe for success in the workplace? When you see someone who inspires you, be quiet. I love that. Thank you for that encouragement, because sometimes we forgot to be quiet just to listen to someone who is inspiring. So thank you for that. And that is all I got. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Susan. That was a very detailed report, and you enriched us with a lot of feedback. Thank you very much for that. Our next functionary will be the R counter. R counter, over to you, which is Upai. Upai, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I think the speakers, they spoke well, such that I could hardly find any filler words, but yet I was able to catch a few of them. And that the first speaker, Ake, I got one arm, Whitney, one arm, and for Susan as a grammarian, I got one R, 3 arm. For the timer, I got 1 torso, 4 arm, and 1 arm. Hola, I didn't get anything. And I think that was it. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Thank you for keeping us in check. One of the things I'm learning is that we have to work on those filler words. We have to pause rather than use those filler words to be great speakers. So thank you for keeping us on track. Our next report is from the timer. Jessica, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So our timing is pretty good. Everybody qualify. Akin 7 minutes, 17 seconds. Cordy 12 minutes, 12 seconds. And for the impromptu speech, Carol 2 minutes, 13 seconds. Yvette 1 minute, 47 seconds. Ola 1 minute, 48 seconds. Kim 1 minute, 27 seconds. Akin 2 minutes, 18 seconds. And for our speech evaluator, Carol 2 minutes, 59 seconds. And Kim 2 minutes, 18 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Because we are learning how to give great speeches and giving it on time. That is very, very inspiring. Now is my time to give a general evaluation of the meeting. This has been a great meeting. I know most of us are busy, but this is a dose of enthusiasm. This is a dose of encouragement, inspiration that will just complete our day. Will be that icing, that pound cake that we need before we go in and rest. So thank you all for coming. I want to start by saying thank you all for starting the meeting on time, and for people that came early. John, our newcomer, you were able to interact with us unofficially without the constraint of the agenda because you joined us early. So please, if you are available, try to join the meeting on time so that we can have some conversations before the meeting starts. The meeting started on time. I want to thank our president, Avi, for taking on the role of the Toastmaster, and then it kicked the meeting on time and kept us in check. We had great speeches from Akin. That was amazing. Akin, you step up for many opportunities and many volunteer opportunities in the club. Thank you for doing that. You are inspiring to a lot of us. So keep doing that. And Courtney, wow, what a great speech to round up your pathway program. You inspired me because I've been slacking off and now I know I have to finish strong. I got an extra reason to finish strong. So thank you for that. And you gave us a lot of good speeches, a lot of good nuggets that we can follow through to get things done. Lastly, Ohe, now I got a company here now. Ohe, thank you for your table topics. I really, really enjoyed it. It was amazing. It was amazing. And all the people that gave contribution, Carol, thank you for letting us know about the Comanche, Yvette, the pound cake, and every other person there. Thank you very much. It's been a great meeting, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I'll be turning over to the Toastmaster. Avi, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Ola. I know you have a company right now, but that's wonderfully done. Your team has done a great job. Congratulations to all the speakers. They have done wonderfully. Evaluators, Carol, your experience is so important. We learn every day something from you. And Kim, this noon, Kim was allocated for an evaluator and she asked, what is an evaluation? How do I do that? And we saw what she delivered in 6 hours. That was wonderful. And I agree with Ola, you just knocked out of the park. Great job, Kim. Speakers, evaluators, table topic master, as usual, you just kept this meeting amazingly. Thank you for that. Now, because we are not voting today, so there won't be best speaker for any of the categories, I would like to quickly call upon our guest to start with. I think, Yvette, I know you're gonna leave. Do you want to say a couple of words before you jump off?
I enjoy this meeting like always. I love visiting. I've been visiting for quite a while all over the district. Anytime you need extra persons to do whatever, I'm more than willing to step in and help.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Yvette. Next, John. John, would you like to tell us how you felt about this meeting tonight?
Hi, thanks, Abby. I was sitting quiet here for last 1.5 hours, but I was watching you, watching everyone. But it's one thing. It's amazed me, is that how well you guys are organizing a meeting. It's really amazing. Everybody knows their role. Everybody know what to say, and it's like a professional board meeting. It's really amazing. Even the guests, I don't know who is guest, I don't know who is the 5 years experience, all look same. Even evaluation is sometimes great than a speech, you know. So it's well coordinated. I think I'm way behind you guys. I need to learn a lot of things, but I hope in the coming meetings I can do that. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, John. And yes, we always love you to be as part of our meeting here. So please keep joining. It would be really amazing. Next, we have Kiana. Kiana, please take your time and share your feedback with us.
Oh my gosh, I've learned so much. So I thank you for inviting me. So as a club president, one thing I've not done yet, but I was taught by Jessica today was the new member induction. So we've not done that. And this is the first time I've actually seen it. So I don't know if your team does it monthly or every meeting. So I'd be interested to learn more. Jorge, you have a signature personality. I love the you may get called on if your screen is turned off. So I'm definitely going to use that. And I also have a wheel to use on my team. So I'm going to use that website. So I just love that. Carol, your table topic speech was like a prepared speech. I was like, this does not sound like a person doing a table topic. This was prepared. And then you weren't prepared and you went ahead, your spirit was unremitting and you delivered anyway. And so I love that. And you're funny, like behind the scenes. So you also have a signature personality. I found it funny when you said that the person behind you, you already knew that they were there. And I said, okay, that's pretty funny. And then the team is like a professional table topics team. I'm like wondering, I wonder how many table topics Jorge can throw out there before the team like gets stumped. And I'm like, it's not happening. So, Courtney, your speech, I just loved it. And I was like, hopefully she'll come to Hess and deliver the same speech. And the theme for that speech could be pathway as an evolution of you. I will even theme it after you if you can come to our speech. And Susan, you are an amazing listener because you have so much detail. I'm like, I didn't even catch all of that. So you're like a professor or something. So I don't know. I just love the club. And Avi, maybe we can talk offline because I'm interested in the name itself, Southwest Management, and what makes you guys unique. You know, congratulations to 7 years, but what is it about that name that you guys tie in? I would be interested to learn more. Thank you for inviting me. Sorry, I took too much time.
Oh, thank you, Kiana. Loved your feedback. Please feel free to join as many times as guests. Next week, we have a special meeting, or the next meeting is going to be a special meeting. We will have new officer induction, and it would be a celebration of our club. So please join. It would be a wonderful evening. With that, we are officially wrapping up, but please feel free to hang out, socialize as long as you want. We will keep the meeting on here. Thank you, everybody. Please feel free to drop if we have to go somewhere. This was amazing. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Hey, if you can stay on, that would be very helpful.
I'm staying here.
Thank you very much, my friend.
No problem.
Yes.
For Javi, for next meeting is a special meeting, right? So are you serving dinner after this meeting?
Yes. All the food thing.
With red wine.
we have to go back to our presential meetings, I guess.
When we were in person, we used to have snacks and food every time we met. So it's something that our club does specifically. So yeah, we have to wait until we are going back for the food part. But as of now, yeah,
Hopefully,
virtual.
John, one thing that you should consider for the next meeting, John, is just bring your snacks or meal with some glasses and maybe there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
bring
bring it.
can,
And if it's if you're like me, all you can bring is your water bottle. That's fine too.
okay.
I've got to go, and I want to say bye to everybody. I enjoyed the meeting. Thank you for letting
Thanks,
me be a
Carol.
member.
Thank you,
Good night.
Carol.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
So 7 years already.
What's that?
7 years tonight. We are celebrating 7 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
7 years.
So I like the question. What the name of Southwest Project Management? Who came up with that name? Where does it come from? Or what was the decision to go with that name?
I think the little that I know, because I mean the PMI created us really.
Mm-hmm.
We are a PMI sponsored club.
Right.
And at that venue, we already had the Southwest venue of the PMI running in the same building. So to give us that name, Southwest Project Management Toastmasters Club, number one, it brought in the Southwest venue of the PMI Houston.
Right.
Number two, the project management entices project managers who go to the PMI meetings, because that was how I joined this club.
Right.
It was Elena who came
Same here.
who came to the PMI meeting. And I know she had me present before at the PMI. So she thought, Akeem, maybe you should consider Toastmasters. Meanwhile, I knew about Toastmasters before then. So that was how I joined. So Southwest came from that. PA, project management